Sometimes life gets stressful, and you long for a simpler existence. Perhaps one of a fisherman, the salty spray of the ocean, the wind in your hair, and the horrifying monstrosities waiting just below the surface. On second thought, maybe not. I really like fishing minigames in video games. Ever since I was little, I've spent arguably more hours fishing than actually playing the main game in some cases. So when I heard of this neat little indie game where it was basically just fishing with an Eldritch Horror backdrop, I was hooked. I'm sorry, but this video is going to be nothing but fish puns. Anyway, today I'm going to be taking a look at the various gameplay elements, aesthetics, story beats, etc. You guys have all seen a game review in your time, I'm sure, and if you haven't, there's a few in the playlist and description. Shameless self-plug aside, this intro has already gone on long enough, so without further ado, let's dive into Dredge. The game starts off by giving us a cutscene of you sailing over to take a job as an angler. However, your trip quickly goes south, as much like me leaving a Denny's at 3 in the morning, you crash into some rocks and completely total your ride. You then wake up on the docks of the Marrow, where you're introduced to some of the main NPCs, the mayor, the lighthouse keeper, the shipwright, and the fishmonger. The mayor sets you up with a hand-me-down boat, for a small fee of course, which you can work off by catching some fish and selling them. It's at this time that you can also pick up side quests, and you'll probably learn of the main quest, which involves getting some specific, totally non-ominous artifacts for this nice glasses-wearing cryptic man. However, I'll come back to him later when I cover more of the storyline and lore bits. The game uses these early parts to get you acquainted with the gameplay loop and mechanics, which usually just involve pressing F during specific prompts. It's a simple minigame, but definitely fulfilling enough. The overall gameplay loop of this game is what I would describe as simple yet addictive. You go out, you catch some fish, and you head back to sell your haul. Fish aren't the only thing that you can dredge up though. During your adventure you can find many other things, such as materials to upgrade your ship, and trinkets to sell for more money. You can even find messages in bottles which flesh out the lore of this world. These include people's journal entries, sales receipts, and schizophrenic ramblings scrawled on pieces of paper. However, you can't hold everything. Dredge has that fun little Diablo or Resident Evil 4 style inventory management which I absolutely love. It's things like that I find oddly satisfying, even if it means that I have to choose what to take back and what to leave. The game has a really satisfying sense of progression. Starting out, your boat kinda sucks fat dong and can only hold a small amount of stuff, and you can only really catch things in the shallow waters. But your options expand greatly as you progress. You go from your boat moving at the pace of a geriatric dolphin to strapping so many engines to it could probably achieve a liftoff and fly you to the moon. You go from duct taping a nightlight to the front of your boat to whatever photon beam headlights those asshats in the Ford F-150 driving on your ass when you're already going 10 over the speed limit at 1 AM have. You get the point. There's a good many side quests in the game that reward you with money or materials to upgrade your ship with. Some even give you books to read, which give you passive buffs. These usually involve collecting specific fish for people, but sometimes it's finding a home for a lost dog. Or salvaging some dog tags so that a man can lay his friends to rest. The game has a vast sense of freedom in its gameplay approach. You'll get a few starting quests that are fairly straightforward to get you started, and then the game cuts you loose, free to roam the world as you see fit. I'd be lying though if I said I wasn't guilty of looking up a few things due to me not marking them on my map and then forgetting where things were. But this is strictly due to my own incompetence. The game takes place entirely within a set of islands, which you'll be able to explore at your leisure. Each island and surrounding ocean has different fish that can appear at different times of the day. Most are specific to that area and are caught with different tools. This specific kind of exploration feels a lot like Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, and I'm all for that. Half the fun of this game comes from just exploring and seeing what new parts of the game open up when you get new fishing tools, and there's quite a few, each having their own niche applications. It's fun just finding new fish to catch. I think this aspect might be one of the most satisfying parts of the game to me, simply filling out your encyclopedia. There's many fish in the game, all of which have a few variants, or as this game refers to them, as aberrations. These monstrosities are the result of eldritch mutations on the local species, and I think stuff like that's just really cool. Taking something familiar and twisting it into something horrifying, yet still close enough to the original design that you can tell what it is. I think all of these fish are just so cool to look at, which segues into the visuals. This game is beautiful. The cel-shaded art style of both the world and the NPCs just works so well for this type of game. Everyone has these kind of disproportionate, exaggerated features that look straight out of a storybook or something. All the Lovecraftian fish and other horrors, while kind of spooky, are also super cool to look at. Specifically this one area of the map that has these bioluminescent tendrils under the water, or the mine suckers in the swamp area that just ominously come up from the water with their many eyes to scream at you. Each of the 5 areas feel distinct to one another, and the Devil's Spine and Twisted Strand being the most standout as a volcanic and swampy area, respectively. This game's a weird mix of very chill and spooky, while having some really tense moments. There's a mechanic in the game referred to as panic, which increases when out at night surrounded by darkness. Panic causes many visual effects to happen on screen, as well as causing enemies such as phantom sharks and ghost ships to appear and chase the player down. These will also cause rocks to pop out at you from the darkness, and some will just straight up try and throw hands with you. As well as many other cool things. Basically, the entire mechanic exists to fuck with the player. So while I wouldn't necessarily call this a horror game, it definitely has horror elements, and pretty seamlessly blends them together in this game for a weird mix of calm and spooky. The sound design kind of goes hand in hand with this. Most of it is very minimalist when you're out sailing, with only a few tracks during certain times. But this somehow makes the paranoia even worse. Hearing things from the silent darkness around you, and maybe catching a glimpse of some horror in the distance, it makes being chased all the worse. However, the towns are a safe haven for you to catch up on some sleep and do some much needed repairs and business. And each have themes when you're docked there. The overall tone of them is mysterious, bordering on melancholy. It's super fitting giving the vibe of the game. The sound effects are also masterfully well done, from the splashing of the waves, to the incomprehensible whispers of the miasma, to the hammering of the shipwright on your boat. It's all very well done. I'm gonna start getting into story spoilers, so if you don't want those, skip ahead to the final review part and go play the game. It's like 8 hours, 12 to 16 if you're really thorough with the side quests, and then come back. Alright, so, as you collect the relics for the collector, the lighthouse keeper seems to imply that she knows more than what she's saying. You meet the old mayor who's driven to insanity and keeps talking about a crimson book, the one that just so happens to be owned by the collector. Call me a big dumb idiot if you want for this next part, but it's kind of a good twist that I didn't see coming. After collecting the last relic, you return to the island to hand it in, but if you choose to talk to the old mayor and the lighthouse keeper first, and then question the collector about the book, you can walk up and take it from him. In the process, it's revealed that you've been talking to yourself in a mirror the entire time. You're the collector, sort of, wiping your own memory of an event that happened when you lost your wife, and the lighthouse keeper was a witness to it. So your other persona wants to use the power of this book to bring her back from the depths, but the keeper knows that the book should be thrown away, and its powers shouldn't be messed with. It's at this point where you have a choice that will affect which ending you get. The various obelisks that you can find throughout the world will actually respond to you at high panic levels, and the Greater Marrows one shows a vision of one of the possible endings. If you use the book to bring back your wife, it wakes up an eldritch entity along with her that will proceed to destroy the Greater Marrows and, assumedly, the world. We even get a glimpse of the destruction in the credits. However, if you choose to throw the book away and give up on seeing your wife again, you get swallowed up along with your boat by the Leviathan. The game then pans out to see an aurora, and we get a nice shot of a not destroyed Marrows in the credits. I think this is kind of a textbook Lovecraftian ending. Things aren't really elaborated on, and we're left not knowing much about these godlike beings that exist in the world. Only that it exists to bring destruction, and oftentimes in these types of medias, it's a tragic ending. However, I think it kinda ties everything up well enough and suits the overall tone of the game. Dredge is really something special. It's a short game made by about 4 people, but with the level of polish and creativity it has, it's truly remarkable. They even plan on adding more free content as well as paid DLCs in the future. Dredge is a niche game that I haven't seen done a lot, and definitely not in such a neat and stylized way. And for about $25, it's well worth your money if you like fishing games. I'd rate this game about an 8 out of 8 unbaitable. You could say it's pretty good. Don't forget to tuna in next time. Please don't unsubscribe, I swear that was the last fish pun. Hey there, thanks for watching my video. If you've made it this far, I just want to say thank you, and it means a lot to me. If you liked it and you want to see more stuff like this, leaving a like and subscribing helps a lot, and I'd appreciate the heck out of it. If you want to share your thoughts in the comments, you're always welcome to do that also. What'd you think of the game? Do you have a different one that you want me to cover? Let me know down below. And as always, have a good one, and I'll see you next time.